Chet Sandhu like you've never watched before. Chet grew up in the northeast of England and faced daily racism, abuse, and in this episode he goes deep about the traumatic childhood and how he turned it around.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Chet Sandhu, aka King of Karachi. I was caught with the biggest seizure of pharmaceutical drugs in Spanish history, and I've done jail sentences in Spain and in England for various crimes.
Chet Sandhu, thank you for making time. Thank you for being on the Better Than Peter podcast. And thank you for that brief introduction, but we'll get into a lot of detail about your life. Safe to say, not an ordinary guest. So Chet, first of all, again, thank you for making time. I'm going to start off with just pretty much how every podcast you've done, and you've done a ton of them. Pardon me for making you repeat some of the stuff, but it'll be the first time my audience will hear it. But I guarantee this, I'll ask you a few questions along the way, which you probably would not have been asked. So without further ado, if you can take us back to the young Sandhu household when you were growing up as a kid.
Right, the young Sandhu household, it looked like this. My parents came over from India in 1963. My mother, she was 20. My brother was born in India. He was 1 year old at the time. I wasn't born yet. I was born in 68. And so they came over. My dad, they were asked to come over. They had to share the house with uncles, other cousins, blah, blah, blah. I think there was about 12 of them sharing one house. This was in Hitchin, Hertfordshire. It's next to London. And this is what happened. They come over, and then anyway, my dad worked. My mum came over, worked. And then they set up, they had enough money so they could buy their own house. So they could buy their own house before having any more children, like me and my sister. She's a year younger than me, exactly. My brother was already born, 5 years old. No, he was one then at the time. So my mum and dad, they worked. And anyway, they managed to get a house, but they couldn't afford the house, the rent. So what we had to do at that present time was had to get another family in to share the house so we could afford to pay the rent.
Okay.
The other family was this black family. No, it was just a black woman and her 3 kids. Her name was Sandy Shaw. Anyway, she was the single mother, 3 kids, but it was a total nightmare. On our part, my mum and dad didn't really understand how other people lived. My mum and dad are clean people, we're Sikhs. We like to do things how we do things. And they weren't really ready to have anybody else living in the same house as them.
Right.
So, but they had to do this to pay the rent.
Mm-hmm.
And the rent, okay, she was given 1 bedroom and used to the bathroom and the kitchen. And my mum told me she paid £3 a week rent.
Little bit different than what the rents are going in England these days. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So very quickly, Chet, how many brothers and sisters were you? Your family, not your uncle's kids.
Yes, I've got 1 brother and 1 sister.
1 brother and 1 sister. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're growing up, again, your folks are working all the time. There's a story where I heard that you were in a daycare, which was not a legal daycare. You ended up in prison at the age of 3 years old. If that doesn't get somebody's attention, obviously you weren't arrested. You were just locked up for a brief while till your parents came to collect you. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. The story with that, yeah. All this happened at the same time as when we had these other people in our house. My mum and dad had to go to work. Me and my fifth, we were too young to go to school, so we were put with illegal childminders. They said they were Italian, but they weren't from Italy. They were from, I don't know where they were from. But in that house, there was like an array of children. all from similar backgrounds as me and my sister, all from sort of families that have come over to work, blah, blah, blah. We were all black, white, yellow, brown, everybody was there. We were all thrown in the same pot. But these people were illegal. So what happened one day was there was like a police raid. There was a police raid. These police landed outside. I was 3 years old. My sister was 1 year old. No, 2 years old, sorry. I was 3, my sister was 2. And anyway, there was about 12 to 14 of us kids. And they went, right. All of you upstairs in the bathroom. Anyway, they got 14 of us and stuck us upstairs in the bathroom. And they said, don't make a noise. Keep your mouth shut. So we were all there quiet. Anyway, they opened the door to the feds. The feds came in, searched the house. They wanted to go into the bathroom. They were knocking on the door, right? I don't know where the people were, the illegal childminders. I think they were arrested at this point, yeah. So the police were knocking on the door. We were told to not open the door. And then my sister started to cry, yeah. And then I was only 3, yeah. And then I said to her, listen, don't worry, I'm here, yeah. What I was going to do at 3 years old, I don't know what, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I said to her in Punjabi, because that was the only language that I knew then at that time. It wasn't
Right.
until I was about 5 until I learned English. So Punjabi was the only language I knew. So, and then the police kicked down the door and took all of us, all as kids, because they didn't know who our parents were. There was no phones, no nothing back then. We don't know the addresses. So they put us into cells. They put us in the police cells.
Surely that must be illegal. Like I cannot imagine. Like wasn't there like a daycare at the police, like, or somewhere else they could have put you rather than being put in a cell?
I don't know. Personally, I don't know.
That
But
is
this
that is
was,
so wild, because when I heard it, I
yeah,
have to hear it again because I wanted to make sure when I'm talking about it on the podcast,
yeah,
I don't look stupid, because it
yeah,
sounds insane that a 3-year-old along with 12 other 13 other kids are being
yeah.
put in a police jail, even temporarily, till their parents come and pick them up. That is, and which year would this be? Like late 70s, probably?
No, this is 1971.
1971. Okay,
So
different
it's just a turn. So this was acceptable then.
time.
This was acceptable then. What they did, they stuck us all, I think, in 2 different cells, 6 in each. They found out of the childminders, our parents they were all at work. They had to contact our parents. They had to finish their shift and then come and pick us up out of the police cells. So we were there all day,
And and
We were
and you
there.
were 3 years old, and you have this
Yeah.
really sharp memory of this time. So it must be like it's jarred in your brain, isn't it? Like the fact that you're talking about it now.
The first memory I have that's the first memory I have of all time. I don't know anything else before then, but after then I do. But that was my first one of the police, the arrest, the getting taken away, waiting for my parents to come. My sister was there crying all the time.
Yeah.
So it stuck in my head that, yeah, I did.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about a serious topic, which is regarding obviously racism, which was a daily occurrence in your life back in the day.
Huh.
And on top of that, you also had an issue with stuttering, which was quite bad. If you don't mind, and again, I know you've talked about it, but again, for my audience, a little.
Right, okay. How bad it was, yeah. It really affected me as a child, yeah. When until I went to school, it wasn't really a problem with me because my parents were quite strict. They didn't let me mix with anybody. It was just me, my sister, brother, my mum and dad, It was just the basic people, family members. So I wasn't mixing outside. It was only when I got sent to school, that's when my stutter and my English and the racism, it all came on board because I didn't know any English. I had a stutter and I was brown. Yeah.
Sorry, I have a question. So when you were speaking Punjabi, which you were doing till you were about 4 or 5 years old, you did not have a stutter, but only when you were speaking in English were you stuttering?
No, I had a Punjabi stutter all the time.
Okay.
But when I was just in my family, you know, then nobody's going to say anything, you know?
Okay.
Because my
Sure.
brother also, he has one also. Both of us had a stutter, you know? So it was like a bit of a norm thing in our house, you know? So, but it was only when I went out, when I went to school, had to go to school, and there you had to get up in class. You had to get up in class and say your name. This is when I moved up to Huddersfield, West Yorkshire. And you had to stand up in class and say your name. And my name is Gachetin, okay? But I couldn't say it. It was just like a case of gug, 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 gug. But then, because I was the only Asian in the class, and I couldn't really speak English, I had a stutter, they all used to laugh at me. I was just like a laughing stock of every morning. Every morning, it was the same thing for me, you know? And I knew what was going to come, and I hated school that much. I hated it. And didn't know how to handle it, really. But I had to, but I went through it. Every morning, the teacher even knew he feels really awkward here. It's really bad for him. But the teacher would still make me do it, you know? Like now, they would give you a little bit of a bye, you know? They would say, okay, you know? But then you had to stand up in class and say your name, so they tick you off the register. So you're in class. So we all had to do this. So it was a process what you had to do. And I just got the piss taken out of me. And it was that was passed from then. That was from being fine. And then after that, it's just like progress. The racism was always there in schooling. I hated school. I wanted out of it. I just joined the gang. Muslim boys, we just went to steal, you know. That's how I thought I'm going to get through my school days here, yeah, because I hated school. I wasn't really into the education bit because nobody was really taking my part in. I wasn't interested in it. And so that was it for me, you know. And
Chet, I want to address a word which is used obviously for Asian, for brown, which is a word which, oddly enough, people in India don't know what that it means. A lot of them, I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of them don't know the word Paki, which is obviously, you know, for a black person, that's the N word for context wise. But for a lot of people in India, that word means somebody from Pakistan or a Pakistani national. But obviously that word used anywhere else in the world, whether it's the UK or US, means it's a racial slur. Did you hear that word on a daily basis?
yes, daily. The teachers even used to say it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, the teachers, because it wasn't until 1984 that Tony Blair made it illegal to say that.
Wow.
And to say nigger and to say black bastard, black cunt. Racism, that was in 1984. We're still talking way early yet, you know? So there was a long way for us to go yet to carry on taking this shit, which was on a regular basis, even, right, the 1969, the Conservatives, the party slogan to win the election was, if you want to live next door to a nigger, vote Labour.
Wow, that's
right, and that was acceptable. That is totally acceptable. That was the Conservative Party. You know, that's the Conservative Party saying that. So it's the same thing. If you want to live next door to a Paki, vote Labour. You know, it was just a fact of life, and I just put that on board, and I just thought this was my daily day of life. Yeah,
yeah. So it was just something which it's almost like nothing to be outraged about, because this is just common language. This is how people spoke back then.
Yes.
Which now seems mind-boggling. I mean, it's so difficult to wrap around it. So you grew up all through your teens, even your early 20s, in an environment which was inherently racist, and there's nothing anybody will do about it. But obviously, this is building up. And on top of that, you're working in your parents' shop. You're working at the cash, at the till. and
Yeah.
you're getting slammed even more by punters or by people at the bar who are coming in, shoplifting, nicking, and it's even more in your face, the fact that some of these people have had a little bit to drink and are even worse than perhaps maybe if they didn't have a pint or two.
Yes, yes. It was like the same thing. It was even the same of a child. Like when we went up there, we moved up to Washington, which is next to Newcastle, the northeast of England, not far from Scotland, 1984. So Asians were unheard of. We were the first people there in the area. There's an incident of one time I was on the till. There was a queue on the till. The schools had come out of school. It was about 3 o'clock. And one kid says to his mum, "Mum, what's that over there?" And she goes, "It's a packy," meaning me. And the whole queue laughed, you know? The whole queue laughed, yeah? They're waiting to be served and they laughed. So that's a joke. That is the norm. And then what also happened there, people refused to put money in my hand. They went, you're brown. I'm not going to touch your hand. And they would throw money on the counter. I would stick my hand out for the money. No, throw it on the counter, throw it on the counter. But I would put their money in their hand, you know? I was young. They were all older than me. It wasn't my place. I had no backup, no friends, no nothing. It was just all them. It was just all them. It was bam, bam, bam. And this is on a daily basis. They were that bad. At certain times, my family were attacked. Even took them to court, but nothing happened because they all stuck together and lied. Witness statements were put in to say that me, my mum, and my dad attacked a gang of 5 white youths, as if that's going to happen. Yeah, they got witnesses outside to say, "Oh no. 5 of them came into my shop and attacked my dad. I stuck up. Well, I did what I could, but there was a fight and my dad got bashed up. Yeah, my mum was there." But they made it out that me, my mum, and my dad attacked these 5 fucking youths who were well known in the area, criminal records all day long, and they were drunk and they walked. They got away with it. This was standard behavior back then. But it's pointless even taking these motherfuckers to court because it's a pointless event because all these white people would just stick together. They stick together and they will put it against you and then they will try and fuck you over and again. So I was just taking shit upon shit. Like people just coming in, stealing a bottle of fucking vodka, putting it down the pants, and then I would say to them, I would confront them about it, and they would say, "Well, what are you going to do about it, you black cunt?" I'll come over that fucking till, come on behind the counter, and I'll stamp over your fucking black head, okay? Wow. There's nothing you can do, and there's nothing I can do. Other people just used to steal, say to my dad, "I'll go through you, I'll fuck your son, I'll fuck your mother, I hope your mother gets raped by all these people." This was daily shit. Our house got burned down. 2 attempts where they put petrol through because we were brown. We were hurting nobody. We're providing you cunts with a fucking service. You white motherfuckers, we're providing you with a fucking service and we are fucking putting our lives on the line by staying open and yet all we get is shit upon shit. So that's where my hatred is from and that's where my vengeance and that's where my brutality towards these people in the end, and still is to this day. I still bash people to this day. I bashed somebody 2 fucking days ago, actually, from an occurrence that happened 40 years ago. Because I can't forget it. I hold a grudge because I know all these people. All these people still live in the same area, and I still live in the same area. I'm still here because I ain't moving away, and I just fucking track you fucking down. And they run scared of me now. They run scared. And that gives me a little bit of, for the first time in my life, I'm giving it back at them. I've just took at schooling, the stutter, the racism, couldn't speak English. Just take. Okay, I've took, and then I went to jail, yeah? So I took more there, but I gave out a lot there. But now the person I am is the person I fucking am, which is not very good. To tell you the truth, I wish I wasn't like this. I wish I was milder based. I wish I could get my head in control. Sometimes when I see these people that gave my mom, my dad abuse, I still want to put them down. Even though they're old now and frail, I still think I want to fucking take you and put you in the boot of my fucking car and take you away and torture you, motherfucker. But I don't do that. But that's a feeling I get. That's a feeling I have. Still, I don't have a feeling of forgive and forget. No. Forget, no. Forgive, I can't forgive, and I can forget. I can't do either. I can't do either. You're supposed to do both.
Chet, I just feel the emotion coming to the surface. I mean, it's almost like these memories are so burnt in your brain. They're part of your DNA. You cannot erase them even if you try. Your veins are popping out when you're recollecting these. These are still very raw. And some things which have happened 20, 30 years ago, just because it was on a daily basis. And when even to you, if it happens, you may let it slide. But the fact that it's happening to your mom, your dad,
Yes.
I can see where the anger it's internalized. And for a lot of people, I agree with the path that you took, because that is a path. Had I lived your life, chances are I would have gone down that path. I wouldn't have become an accountant, knowing who I am. But obviously, I've not led your life. But having been through all those circumstances, if you just take a white collar job, good on you. But for you to stand up and fight back, and obviously, and we'll come to that. So a little bit of a different track now. So you've worked in your father's shop till you're 21,
Yeah.
but then you've gone about and done your own thing. You've done with that, and now you've gone and opened a clothing store. Is it?
Yes. Story was this, yeah. Okay.
Are you a bit emotional, Chet?
No, I'm fine, man. I'm fine, man.
Yeah.
Right. So okay, the story was this, yeah. The shop, that wasn't my life, yeah. That wasn't what I see myself in. I was an artist, yeah. I was an artist. I was good at art. It was the only thing anything at school, like, yeah. That was the only thing I got O level in, okay. I want to go to art college. My father said no. He said no. He said, I want you to be a staff member, stand behind the till, So he just wanted to use me as staff.
Yeah.
He didn't let me get an education. But my brother got one, and my sister, she got one, yeah? But not me. I wasn't allowed, yeah? So fuck knows why. But anyway, so I had put this one on board as well. But I'm not the one allowed to do this neither, right? So I'm the one that has to take all this shit of all these white people. So I was taking it, and I thought, this life is for fucking me. I had a lot more to me. So I opened up a clothes shop, and it was called Stuttering. I was 21, and when I started that off, I said to my dad, okay, I've worked for you since I was 12 years old. Since I was 12 years old, I've been coming from school and working till 10 o'clock at night every day of my life. Not being allowed out once. I wasn't allowed out once, No night out, no girlfriend, no fuck all.
How old are you now? Are you 21, 22?
21.
Oh.
Not even kissed a girl yet.
Oh.
Not even kissed a girl yet. Yeah, people think I've had like a crazy life. I'm this, I'm that. I did this young. No, I did nothing when I was young. Nothing. The first time I had alcohol, I was 23.
Okay.
21, right. I got the shop because all I was interested in was getting out of where I was.
Right.
I wanted to get out of there. Actually, shit. Horrible. To shit people, shit community fucking council service, fucking low-level fucking benefit motherfuckers. And I just want out of you motherfuckers. Yeah, I had a lot more to offer. So I got this shop. So I told my dad, what am I worth? Yeah, he gave me, at the time, I got 40 grand to set myself up. 40 grand he gave me. So I'm right, okay. So I got the lease, I got the shop, I got everything made, and I made it myself in steel, raw steel. It was like a perfect shop. But the levels of clothing I had were far too high for Newcastle at the time. I was the first one to sell Vivian, Westward. I introduced Prada, Moschino, all these labels to town, but They're far too expensive for them, and they didn't really get what they were about. It was only the people. It was like the club scene, the gay scene. It was just them that were interested, who had the excess money to pay for this. It was men's, ladies' wear, and I was the only person in Newcastle shops, all of them, to get a mention in Vogue and Elle magazine. And so I used to get invited down to all these shows in Milan, Paris, London. So this was a totally different
Oh, it's a different world from going from the
totally different
shop
world.
to going
From
to
that,
fashion events in Milan.
yeah,
Yeah.
and mixing with Naomi Campbell, Kylie Minogue, Kate Moss.
Okay.
I met
Okay.
all these girls. I met
Listen,
all
Chet.
these girls, right?
Listen, Chet. I
I
have
met
a
all these
question for
girls.
you. Yeah, I have a question for you. I heard in another, or I watched in another
Yeah, go on.
podcast,
Go
and
on.
they gave you grief for it, and I want to make sure I get this out of you. You claimed to have dated
Yeah.
or done the dirty with Naomi Campbell, Kate Moss,
No.
and Kylie Minogue. Now, I want a clarification. Did you or did you not do anything with any of these three? And even if it's 1 out of 3, that's a huge win.
No, zero with all three.
Say that again now. Say that again. I want to.
But I did this meet, but they did agree to meet me, right? My problem is I told the truth. If I'd have blacked them, if I'd have made out I've got more than what I had, because I was at the fashion shows, because I looked good in my pack, because I had my clothes shop, I was getting mentioned in Vogue, Elle. I had the front seat on the fashion shows as well. So if you get a front seat, the buyers, they all get a front seat. I'm a buyer, so I get a front seat. So they're all thinking the buyers all have money, you know, and it's my shop. But they didn't know that I was just starting out. It was only my first and second year, you know.
They didn't know that Chet was working in a shop about a couple of years ago. They're thinking this guy is loaded. And okay, so did you hook up? Did you hook up with any of these three?
Yeah, sure I did. I met them at the fashion shows, talked to them at fashion shows, and all three of them on separate times, yeah?
Yes, of course.
Different locations agreed to meet me. I met Kylie Minogue and Kate Moss at Brown's nightclub in London after the fashion show. What happened, yeah? Okay, it's the same story, exactly the both, right? It's the same story. They were there, met me, hi, this, that. I dressed smart, they were smart. And then they just got onto figures, yeah? What I actually have, what do I actually own, what do I actually do? At the fashion show, it was all talking about clothes, talking about Prada, Dolce Gabbana, blah, blah, blah. But now they like had a few drinks now, and now they want to know, what do I actually have here? So I didn't really lie, yeah? I told them I'm just starting out. This is my shop. This is who I am. They weren't interested. They weren't interested. Yeah, okay. It's the same story with all three, yeah? So they're just gold diggers, yeah? But Naomi Campbell, who I did date as well, and I did the same. I think her, I met in. Where was
Chet,
it?
if I might ask you, if you don't mind, how would you define dating?
Define it.
Dating. What you say you dated Naomi Campbell? What does dating?
Oh, dating,
mean?
right? Okay, dating. Okay, right. A date is when they agree to come out with you on a certain date.
Okay.
And that's what they did.
Okay.
And that's what they did. Okay, what happens after that, yeah? A date is a date. A date is when somebody agrees to meet you, and that's in their head. Okay, they know that I have a date with that person. I have a time set. Here it is. I'm going to meet that person at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. So to me, that's a date, yeah? And so I just tell the truth. It's like being a gangster. Okay, people say to me, define the definition of a gangster.
Right.
There's a lot of gangsters out there. A gangster just means you are involved in a group of illegal work.
Yep.
Illegal criminal work. And that defines you as a gangster. But there's loads of people that do this, you know, whether it be tax evasion or just shoplifting.
I get it. I'm just rewinding back to the 22-year-old Chet Sandhu who hadn't even kissed a woman. And I've gone 5 years forward and he's dating supermodels. What a difference. a few years makes. And now I want to get into the serious stuff. So
Yeah.
at this time, again, I'll fast forward a little bit for the audience. So you were running the
Okay.
shop. It wasn't making a profit. It was in Newcastle. People didn't get it. And cut me off if you feel I'm saying something which isn't what you. But
Okay.
this is, you were doing some credit card fraud, and you know, you were being watched a little bit, and you felt that you needed to get out of the business, and then you ended up working as security, as a nightclub doorman, a bouncer, security. Is that a fair comment to say, from exiting the clothing business to going into security?
Yes, that's the reason why I left. Yes, the shop wasn't making the money.
I've done my research a little bit, so I just felt, because I have so much more to get to. But obviously at security at that time, all the people who were working the door or even going to the gym were definitely using steroids, and being big was what it seemed. You know, you had to be big if you were training, all right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Back then, the 90s was like get as big as you can. It's not like now. Yeah, like now, the look is to look slim, fit, you know, like athletic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not big, because that don't look good anyway. Yeah. It looks good now if you're about 12 to 13, 14 stone tops, no heavier, you know?
Yeah.
So you look good in clothing, so you can wear a nice suit, so you can look good. Back then, it wasn't like that. It was like, I want a coffin that big that nobody can carry.
Right. Okay. So
So
you
that
were
was the
working,
mentality.
yeah. So you're working the door, you were, you know, going to the gym with some of these people, and obviously, so how you became eventually the king of Karachi started from being a doorman, where you started doing a little bit of steroid, a little bit of distribution of these steroids. Was it a little bit anything else besides that?
No, at that time, no, steroids only. I wasn't interested in anything heavier than that.
Okay.
Cafe, no,
So
not
you
then,
were
not
kind
at
of
that time.
like a small dealer of sorts. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. And when did you say that, okay, I think I can, you know, take it to the next level, maybe?
Okay, when I thought I could take it to the next level was when I was buying off certain people. I was buying off certain people. I was paying what I was paying. I was going abroad to Europe. I was seeing what the prices were there. It was okay. It was okay. I did a bit, but then I was just thinking, there's nobody actually bringing it in from Pakistan. There's nobody actually going to the source here. You know, like there's loads of people with cocaine, this, that. Yeah, they go to Venezuela, they go to Colombia, they go to Bolivia, and they're bringing it back. They're bringing it back, but no one's going to Karachi. I thought, what the fuck? So I thought, I'm going to do it. I thought, I'm going to do it.
How did it occur to you? How did Karachi come, or how did Pakistan come to mind when it came to getting drugs? What, did you know about somebody doing it, or did you just put two and two together?
Okay, the steroids at the time that were getting sold in the 80s, 90s, they were getting made in Pakistan.
Okay.
Karachi. Organon was the factory. I think that factory is not in working now. Okay, I don't think it works no more. I think that was Taliban run, tell you the truth. It's not operating no more. It was called Organon. In fact, I need to have a look at that one if that's still operating. But I've never seen any steroids with that product on no more. But at that time, present time, they were producing all the best steroids at that time. And it was Pakistan. But the people I used to buy off, they were all white guys. They're all white guys, and they say, "Are you kidding me? I'm not going to go to fucking Pakistan.
Yeah.
I'm going to get shot there." I get shot. I went, "Well, yes, you will." So nobody goes there. So nobody was going there. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there.
So this is interesting because obviously you're Indian, you're Sikh, and then Pakistan, which is traditionally obviously not on the best terms with India. You mentioned that your family was not a big fan of your going to Pakistan and sourcing, so to speak. I mean, they wouldn't have been excited anyways with what you were doing, but the thought of going to Pakistan felt a little bit dangerous, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah. I did say to my mom and dad, I'm going to go get a visa from Bradford. We're going to get a visa, go to Pakistan. So what are you going to Pakistan for? And I told my mom and dad, and I told them what I was going there for, just in case anything happened to me.
Right.
So they know, you know, so they know. You know, they don't want to get a phone call or fucking them saying, "We have your son in Karachi." My dad goes, "What?" You know?
Yeah.
So, so I told them, I'm going there.
Your dad's like, no, that cannot be. He's with Naomi Campbell down the road. Sorry, I just had to throw that in. Go ahead, go
Right,
ahead.
go on, fair enough, I'll give you that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so I had to tell them where I was going, what I was going to do. My dad said, they will take you away. They will just take you away there. You have money and you're going to go, you're sick, and you're going to go there to buy drugs. They will just take that money off you and take you, kidnap you, and demand a ransom of me.
Hmm.
I went, well, let's see what happens. I said, well, don't pay my ransom. I said, don't pay my ransom. Let me die.
Yeah.
But my dad, he wasn't happy, you know. He wasn't happy, and he didn't speak to me after that for a while. But my mom, she goes, okay. She goes, okay, let me know if you need any help, you know. And that was that.
Okay. So you made the trip to Pakistan, obviously. Were you by yourself or did you have people with you?
I went with two second cousins on my first trip. They were Sikh as well. We're both big guys, three of us, and I took them along as well, yeah, because to tell you the truth, I was scared a bit, yeah, okay? So I did take them with me. They're capable guys as well. They were tough, big, 6'2", 6'3", training, and I said there's money to be made on this trip. I explained it to them, and I said I'll take the lead role, you know. Any jail goes down, you know, okay, fucking I can take it on my head, yeah. But I need a bit of backup, yeah, because I don't know what I'm entering here. I don't know, and I don't want to go there alone, to tell you the truth. Yeah.
So did you know, I mean, we live in an internet era now. So, you know, you can Google or YouTube, and obviously things were nowhere the same 20, 30 years ago. So when you land up, what is your first impression, or what do you remember from the first time you landed at the airport? Did you feel that you stood out? Did you feel that, you know, was it the smells and the sights and the sounds, the noise? What was Karachi like when you went there? I'm interested
Right.
more
Okay.
just to hear
Okay.
about Karachi more than anything else.
I'll pause